question. What do you plan on doing when you have children?
No, we would probably not be fucking around as much because you wouldn't even have the time for it.
Do you make eye contact when you speak or no? I'm over here.
Well, kind of, yeah, but I can't really see and I don't want to block the camera because, you know.
Well, it's actually better if he just kind of maintains more of a straight, straight on.
I do have a question for both of you guys. Out of curiosity, how many men beyond Destiny?
Flan Live, thank you for the 50 gifted. We'll have to do the fit check later on in the show, guys. Thank you, man. Go ahead.
Besides Destiny, in your guys' relationship, if you feel comfortable answering, how many men have you been with?
Like total? I actually don't really know. Usually it's just women.
But if you had to estimate,
isn't it Destiny? Is that accurate that you tend to?
I don't really keep count on like how many men.
No.
Would you say?
I've looked up like
hold on. Would you say it's like 5, maybe 10?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's like years.
Hey
ago.
guys.
Right.
The last time you were with a guy besides Destiny in your relationship?
It's probably a long time ago. Usually just women.
Okay. How many women have you been with besides her in your relationship?
I don't think he keeps counting, but it's a lot of them.
Okay, but like, come on, give me like a ballpark estimate.
It's a lot. Destiny's fucking in these YouTube streets.
No, it's not. Well, where I'm going with this.
It's probably 10 times as many as mine.
It's a decent amount, but it's cringe to talk about because I'm not here to like fucking jerk off over like fucking.
I understand. Where I was going with that is like, when was the last time you were with a guy besides Destiny?
I don't remember.
A year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
I'm not really
Probably
that
within a
into
year,
men,
I think,
you know?
right? I think.
Something like that.
About a year ago?
I think within, yeah.
Oh shit. When that happened, like, did you feel comfortable with it based on the amount of communication?
Generally, this is the way that I approach it. If I'm gonna hook up with somebody, it's kind of weird if your partner is out like fucking somebody or hanging out with somebody in like a semi-romantic way, and then your partner's just like at home doing like nothing. So usually, if I'm going out doing something, hopefully she's got like similar plans, and then vice versa. If she's got plans, then I've got plans. So no, we don't usually feel bad about it because we're doing something together generally.
So it doesn't create insecurity for you guys at all?
I mean, as much insecurity as like any like normal relationship. Like there might be times. The only time I think that insecurity comes creeping in is if there are other problems in the relationship. So for instance, like if we're fighting a lot and then somebody tries to like hook up with somebody, then like that might cause people to feel a little bit weird. But like
Yo,
otherwise,
Vega
no,
man, what's up, buddy? How's it going?
If we did, we wouldn't have an open relationship.
I mean, I get turned on by it, so.
You get turned on by him hooking up with other chicks?
Yeah, so you're a cuck.
Cuck
Yes.
queen.
Yeah, I like
Cuck
that.
queen?
Yeah, I guess cuck
That's a
queen.
term. It's a term.
Exactly.
Wait, can I ask the panel
it is
what
now.
the interest or like the angle is for interrogating their relationship to this extent?
I
I
just genuinely don't know, so I'm going straight to the source.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not interrogating them. I personally am just curious about it.
feels a little bit like it. You guys are
No, I'm
basically
just-
like
I'm
this
just-
close to like. So we
No.
already
I
asked like,
think
do you
it's
like the
because
ass?
to, like,
Do you like
no,
flavored
people,
lube?
it's so
Aaron, you're
repellent.
projecting interrogation onto me where it doesn't exist. I'm asking because I just know for myself.
Is
as
it
a-
curiosity? Is that the angle?
It's curiosity,
Okay.
and I'm kind of probing into it because it's like I can't imagine being
What
in
the
a
fuck's
situation
going
where
on?
my girl was hooking up with another
You missed
guy,
that part.
It wouldn't drive me insane, and so if it doesn't drive them insane, I'm curious.
Why were you
like,
curious
is
about
that?
the number of men?
Just because it's an interesting
You
question.
gotta come from somewhere.
It's an
You gotta
interesting
be a little
question.
bit more.
You know, if Destiny's a cuck, then he cucks off watching his wife sleep with other women because that's mostly what she does. She said.
It's a juicy
Of course
question.
That's what it is.
It's a juicy
not like
question,
I'm
exactly.
genuinely curious. It's like you're not trying to break
It's
a
like an
condom.
unusual
There's an
relationship
element of
dynamic.
curiosity, and there's also an element.
I mean,
of
it doesn't sound like a problem to me, bro.
I feel like just because they're in an open relationship, maybe that doesn't mean they should be subjected to like particularly
They
invasive
voluntarily came on this
questions.
show.
No, like if
this is
somebody
gonna be the dynamic.
volunteers that they're in a monogamous
Why
relationship.
are you speaking on behalf of Destiny? I don't.
Yeah.
If
I'm
he
not a
has an
lawyer.
issue with the
Are you
degree of
Destiny's
questions
lawyer?
we're asking him.
No,
then-
I'm curious myself. Like, I didn't expect that half the panel already would be just about their relationship.
Well,
That
it's-
would
it's
be
such-
like
it's
other
interesting.
stuff.
It's
Can we
such,
talk
it's
about
such
you
a
then?
unique. Aaron,
What?
hold on.
Yeah, let's talk
Aaron,
about
you
you.
answer
Since
the
you
question.
refused.
It's such a
Since you refused.
You should probably put
Let's
the.
talk about you,
Okay.
but you keep dodging all the questions, so we're
Damn, I
gonna
don't
ask
know
Yeah.
how loud
We
they're
can go
gonna
to you
get.
then.
No, let's go to you. Are
You just
a
did it
virgin?
again. You just did it again.
Someone's
Right.
gonna
You're
get-
dodging. I don't want to steal all the attention. Why wouldn't I want to
You're
share
saying
with
I don't want to steal the
everybody here?
attention, but you came to a dating show and you've avoided all the questions about your dating life.
Yeah.
Oh,
Besides the fact that
questions
you've
about
never
my
been
sex
on a
life
date.
or my dating life.
It's kind of all under the same umbrella.
Is it though?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fates.
On
Of
here
course it is.
You're on a dating
Come on.
podcast and you don't think that your dating life is up for discussion.
No, I didn't say that.
It's-
but
it's
I didn't
all-
know
it's
that,
all
like-
connected.
I
It's
want
all
to
connected.
know
Come on.
some questions for the monogamous people in that
Okay.
case.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Wait.
nice and quiet, man. She's not gonna hear this.
Virgin? Confirm or deny? Just give us something. Give us a
Really,
look.
this is like the most pressing
Hey, Tula.
topic for the dating.
It's literally a
podcast.
yes or no. It'll take you 1 second.
I'll
to
take
answer
this
the
down.
question.
Is it about the?
I thought this was gonna suck, and I gotta tell you, it's actually been really, really good. I've really been enjoying it.
That's right.
I mean, you were evasive about why you were like excavating
I
their
said
relationship.
because I was
This is the
serious
first
and
time-
because it's good content.
This is the first time I've ever seen Destiny's Girlfriend.
Liberation mentally. I feel like Fresh is the best one for her from the Fresh and Fit podcast. I feel like she fits the archetype that Fresh goes after.
What archetype's that?
Chubby white girl.
Got it.
Shots fired.
What an
Shots fired.
asshole.
Just joking, Fresh. Love you.
Although I had a question for you.
Go ahead.
How this
I'm
got-
ready.
Thanks, Flan Life.
You said earlier, with respect to like the dancing thing,
Yes.
you said it would be a boundary of yours to not let your partner or wife dance with another man.
Correct.
Is that really a boundary, or isn't that more of an agreement? I feel like a boundary is something that you say that I'm going to do or abstain, but I don't know that a boundary
boundaries
can
not
really like
agreements?
include.
I cleaned up my whole desk. Everything's
that
so
way. I think a
nice. It's
boundary
all
is something
dusted.
that like I would independently decide
Brought
I don't
everything
want
back
to do
in.
or
I cleaned my
do and
glass.
engage
Bad
in.
idea to do that. Game Boy.
Give it to me. You told me.
I no, I
Focus on the conversation.
Steven.
Yeah, I would.
I know.
You fucked me. You lied to me.
I'm sorry. I missed.
There is a boundary. They're talking about the difference between a boundary and an agreement and a contract. Continue.
I
Go
just
ahead.
know when you do your streams, like you're
Oh,
playing
oh,
Factorio
Come
and shit.
back to the hello.
Okay,
Don't let her
I
dodge
can
the
answer.
virgin
Okay,
question.
okay.
Okay,
Go.
okay.
No, I
I
actually
can
want to
answer.
interject.
Okay,
It's so
here,
funny.
go ahead.
No,
Let-
wait.
let me-
Let me interject. You
Let her go.
Okay, hey.
Let her go.
Let me
and then-
clarify.
The girl with the little rose in her ear, she's a total fucking cunt.
What?
I was raised in a Hispanic traditional Catholic family household. The idea that dancing ballroom or dancing in general is non-traditional to me is insane because like all of South America, Central America, Spain, you know, they dance salsa, they dance merengue. That is part of the culture, and a lot of people there are very traditional, very Hispanic Catholic.
Well,
so to me,
hold on,
there is
hold
a
on.
discrepancy there.
The issue is not with the actual dancing. The issue is with dancing with someone who's not your partner.
That's
Do they-
That's
White.
what they do.
That's
White.
what
Is that
That
what they
culture.
do?
Yeah, they do
Yeah,
that in the culture.
it's literally
White.
just part of the culture. You,
Is
like,
it?
Yes.
Not part of my
Absolutely.
culture. Is that part
I
of
was
the-
literally born and
Not
raised
part of
in
my
that
culture.
culture.
When it comes to the reaction to that video that I brought up, it was because of the context around it. If
No,
it were
hold
just
on.
two
No, no,
random
wait, wait.
people,
The-
I don't think that they
Should we
would've
watch the
Wait,
reacted
hold
video?
on.
to
No,
that.
no.
Should
To
we
be
watch-
clear, the
We should
react.
watch
No,
the
no.
video,
You can watch it if you
actually.
want, but the
So that
reaction
people know
is.
what we're talking
If you're okay
about.
with-
I'm-
if
Yes,
you're
if
okay.
you want. No, no. I don't.
If you're
You
okay.
can watch
If you're
it all
okay.
you want. I'll jerk off to it for you if you want after the show. Okay.
Can we
Listen,
record it? I have an OnlyFans.
Just do it under the table.
Yeah, as long as you pay me for it, okay?
50-50.
Hold on. The issue is not the reaction to the video, or even the context around it. The issue is that right now, everybody in like the red pill like culture that's like taken over like online shit is like obsessed with like cuck and everything related to it. So much that I think it's actually a hidden fantasy for a lot of the people that talk about it. Where like if a guy is talking to somebody else or a girl is talking to somebody else, like cuck. Like people talk about it incessantly. It's
I like
fucking
using that
insane.
word. I
More
think
so
it's
than it would have been
funny.
like even 5 or 10 years
You
ago.
think it's like
And then-
projection?
it's some kind
It's
of
like the
weird
male
obsession
version of
like
cunt,
being cuck
you
or
know?
cuck. Like to the point where on some of these shows, I don't think I've heard it here, but people will say things like, if your girlfriend has like a high body count, you start dating her, you got cucked. Or like if your girlfriend is like talking to another guy in a way that's getting cucked. It reminds me of like the old 4chan copy pasta, where it's like the ultimate cuck is a father that raises a daughter because he's preparing his daughter's pussy to get plowed by some other guy. And that's like the
Whoa, that
ultimate
got
cuck.
dark.
Like
Oh,
I'm just saying that
man.
like the obsession with like the cuck shit is like insane. I don't think it has anything to do with me or the dancing because like she said, in a lot of traditional cultures, a lot of people dance. And if you do like ballroom dancing or competition, you're not only competing with a boyfriend, right? You're like dancing with like partners and other people that have been practicing with you and everything. So I just think the obsession has to do with like the current culture around like the whole cuck and like
So that girl with the rose, she wears her hair over her eye to try to cover up the fact that she's cross-eyed. Then she's a fucking cunt to everybody and throws stones and doesn't realize she's living in the glassiest house of all.
is really rare.
I think
Yeah.
that people recognize
Stupid
degeneracy
fucking
and they
bitch.
naturally
This is
say
it.
something
There you
towards
go.
it.
So it's it's like this weird like degenerate.
Dude, if I was Destiny, I'd be like, hey, you wear your hair over your eye to cover up your cross eye, you stupid fucking cunt.
There's a
I'd say it right to her
way
fucking
express
face.
sexuality and a wrong way, and I guess you're saying there's not a right or wrong.
I've never said that at all.
You ever
It's funny,
heard?
like,
if you'd heard her
We
open up
put
her mouth
degeneracy
earlier,
and weird in air quotes.
Well, because
Is
she
there
said
anything that
You
you
guys
would
can see why I'm
consider
saying what I'm
sexually
saying.
degenerate?
yeah, but he said we weren't allowed to talk about some of that.
So those
Fair-
subjects, would you
fair
say
enough.
okay,
those
so
are the
I'm
only
gonna
things that
heat,
you-
guys. So
But you're allowed to partake in it?
In broad speaking terms, as long as people
make
are
the habit.
exercising or practicing some sexual thing that's between them and it's not hurting anybody else, in general, I think it's probably okay for people to do that. If you want to have like a pure monogamous relationship, if you want to be abstinent until you get married or whatever, and that's how you want to explore, I think it's totally fine. But it seems like people from some backgrounds find that they can be incredibly judgmental about other people's like sexual exploration, which is really weird to me because they get like really fixated on it. Like I've never had a conversation before where I'm like, what's it like to like only have your husband or boyfriend's dick like going in at your pussy? Like these like really explicit conversations. But then people come to me and it's like, what do you think about like your wife like fucking other guys and shit? And it's like it's really weird that I'll get like really, or like even earlier, he's like, so you're bisexual. I think you asked me, right? You fuck guys in the ass, you take dick in your ass. I'm like, Jesus,
I did
that's
not
a really
say
cool thing.
that.
You asked me if I was a top or bottom, right? That's essentially what you're asking.
Closeted
Which is fine, I don't care.
motherfucker.
Like,
That's a
it's
dude in
fine.
the
I'm used to
closet
dealing
right
with it.
there.
But it's interesting to me that based
Dude,
on
just
my life,
step out of the closet,
really
bro.
explicit questions.
Step out of the closet, man.
After that, you'd be like, whoa, that's like way over.
What an
I
asshole.
think it's just an interesting
There's probably
observation.
questions that
How
you could
dare
ask
you, Mary?
anonymous people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be
you were
really
very
harsh.
offended by
What an
that.
asshole,
What?
By
man.
me asking.
There's nothing you can say that will offend me. I
Look,
promise.
I think people
Where's my clock at?
ask questions about your relationship
Oh, I must have
because
deleted the
I
clock.
would say the vast majority, they don't think that it's normal or conducive to a flourishing long-term relationship,
and that's fine.
especially a marriage. 'Cause they
Sure.
think it's
Okay.
fundamentally humiliating to a
58,
man
10,
to not
58.
have sexual exclusivity with his wife.
And that's totally fine. But the way that the questions are phrased was, I'm just curious. But it's not a curiosity.
I didn't say that, but
Sure, that's
I
fine.
said that.
It's not an actual curiosity.
I'm
There's
critical.
That's fine. Yeah, there's a normative loading of like you're doing something that I don't approve of, and now I'm going to question you on it, which is fine. But like, if we want to get into that, then we
It's
can get
just
into
a closet.
that.
It's just a
I mean,
guy
rather
that's
than like,
got
like, oh well, I'm just
desires
curious. Like,
he doesn't know
does
how
it
to
bother
deal
you
with.
that
That's
you have to,
all
like,
that
come
is.
on your wife, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, yeah, I don't know.
Let's back up a second.
Yeah, sure.
You're kind of projecting that the disapproval does exist, but the
Well, I'm not
questions-
projecting because these two at least have explicitly said it right.
Yeah,
So it does exist.
I
So
just
you
said
might
not-
be
it's
curious.
not- I just said it was a boundary.
We're not
it's
pointing
not,
out your-
it's
Okay,
not
guys, no
necessarily
longer
that the
going to
questions
cannabis.
are rooted
Cheers.
in
I hope you're enjoying the
disapproval. It's more
conversation
just
because
that, like,
that's why I
your
went
guys'
live. I wasn't
relationship
gonna, but I
dynamic
was
is-
really
it's
enjoying
a
it.
taboo
So
in
I thought
society,
you
so
would
people
too.
are curious and have
Cheers.
questions, right?
Well, you were. I think you're curious. Well, I don't. I'm treating you as good faith that you're curious. Like these two at the very least. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with being disapproving. But these two questions are coming from like a. Don't you realize that this is really bad? Is like that. That's like the angle of the question, basically.
It's
which
not
is fine,
like
by the way.
understanding or curiosity.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just gonna bully you, kind
Yeah.
of for what you're doing in your
Which is
life.
fine.
Do you guys feel bullied by them?
I don't feel bullied. I love
Do you-
it.
Melina does a little bit.
No, it's just like negativity, not understanding.
Do you guys
not
wanna
like
react
being
to the video
curious
in
or anything. It's
question?
just being
Yeah.
like
We
Yeah, if
could
you want to
do-
watch it, we
really,
can
really
watch it.
fast.
Yeah,
you know?
Eric, can you work on trying to find what would be a
It was
good
posted on
keyword
Twitter
for
a
us
bunch.
to?
I mean, when you're
I don't
so
want to do
open
the.
about
Hold
it.
on, I don't want to do the
Sorry.
video where there's like the music over it. I
You
want
do the
like
video with the music and the Zoom if you want. Whatever you want
copyright.
to do.
Hello?
Okay?
Copyright strike.
Oh.
Try to Eric. Try to find just ABBA Destiny dancing video. While we do that, I just have.
Pretty sure you can go to
three-
Rollo's Twitter or Andrew Tate's Twitter. Everybody's retweeting the video, so you can find it on there probably.
Wait, I'm kind of curious. How do you guys define degeneracy? Like, what do you guys have like a general definition for it, or do you just say like, oh, I don't like that, it's
I
degenerate?
mean, I don't know about you guys. I would personally say off the cuff things that like degenerate the stability of society, right?
What-
Things that are contributing to the fall of the West.
Okay, but-
So like,
this
give some
is-
examples, Chase.
yeah, like, this is still a very
What'd you
general
say?
definition.
Give some examples.
Examples of degeneracy.
Examples of degeneracy, I would say like women getting ran through in their 20s. I think polyamory is degenerate. No offense. I think it has if it was to be widespread throughout society,
This
I
guy's
think it
an
would really
idiot.
tear and rip at the fabric of society.
guy's
and
an
things would
idiot.
fall apart very quickly.
I don't give a
Isn't it
fuck
like
what he has to
Hold on,
say.
hold on.
Homosexuality, transsexuality, and then like stuff like alcoholism, addiction, all these kind of things. Like I think all of that's degenerate.
Okay.
That's how I would
and
define
Being
it.
your definition of
trans,
degeneracy
being
is
gay, it's
basically,
degenerate.
If everybody did it, then society
I
would
wish
fall
I was
apart, and
there,
that's why
man.
it's degenerate. If just one person
I
does
was
it.
like, you know what's
It's
degenerate?
for both society at large and also for
You know what's degenerate? You not being able to accept people that are different from you. You fucking cocksucking piece of shit. You fucking closeted homosexual piece of fucking shit. That's what you are. Just come out of the closet,
for the
motherfucker.
individual as well, and it starts in their soul all these things, right? It's very unhealthy on an individual level and on a societal level as well.
And you're worried about this specifically degenerating the West? Like homosexuality, all of this cuckoldry?
I would say the evidence is
It already-
abundant.
it already
but the
is
West
the evidence is
degenerating.
abundant that
I
it
mean,
is
look at
currently
Hollywood.
degenerating the
It is
West.
already degenerating at a massive
Yes.
rate.
Yeah,
Yes.
gender bending, sodomy, homosexuality, these things have never happened in Europe. That's so true.
They
There
have.
were symptoms of like the declining societies. I mean, we're not the first people to think that you can like have sex with a guy or change your gender. I mean, there have been sexual revolutions in different capacities throughout history, and no society has ever survived those types of revolutions. Typically, like a sign of the decline happening.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Do you think our society is on the brink of collapse?
I don't know if
think
I'd say the brink. I think that's alarmist, but we're definitely headed in the wrong direction.
Every marker of a healthy nation in America is heading in the opposite direction.
just because of what people are doing in the
I
bedroom.
don't think that
It's
our
not just
society is
because of
actually
that.
capable
No.
of
Yeah, do you
collapse. I
think-
it's too sophisticated?
Yeah, I was
disagree.
about to
Part
ask,
of
do you
it.
think these things are what were the cause of collapse, or do you think that there are other factors like economic factors or factors relating to, like, let's say, illness, disease, widespread that might be the cause or the causes of the society's falling?
The only disease killing America is like the woke mind virus,
That
where
better?
everybody's just like trying to
So
be so
true.
fucking woke.
I like how he said that there was a literal disease killing America that like
Kind of
conservatives
is.
wouldn't even recognize. as
It
being an
kind of
actual
is.
thing.
Come on, because even you, like,
Also the
as like
obesity
progressive. Hold on,
crisis,
as progressive as you are, like you see, sometimes these people are too fucking
I
crazy.
fight with them all the time.
No, no,
but
I
I also
agree, I agree.
recognize that like conservatives are literally telling people not to get vaccinated, but we think that like gay people are like ruining society more than that. But
Well,
you know,
there's good reason for
There's
that
not.
though. Yes, there is.
Tell us the reason.
Well,
Why is gay people?
I
ruining
saw
society?
one woman take the
That wasn't what I was
vaccine.
speaking to.
Listen, I
No?
saw one woman take the vaccine and become retarded. That was enough for me to be like, no, I'm just not gonna fucking do it. You know?
What's the
Okay, I
TOS
saw
on
one
talking about
person
the
not take the
vaccines?
vaccine and die. That was enough for me to do it.
Let's
Like, that's
avoid the
anecdotal.
vaccine talk.
Yeah, let's not
Let's
talk
avoid
about
the
that.
vaccine.
I can't have that
do
on my
agree,
channels.
though, because like especially with like Hollywood and TikTok is like predominantly used by teens, and the algorithm is sort of catered towards left-leaning ideals. Like, oh, there's this, there's that,
Yeah.
and it's sort of teaching kids that this is what you have to be. This is the right way to think, and it sort of shames them into forming their own opinions.
I mean, it's controlled by. It's controlled by China and ByteDance. Like, if the actual Chinese TikTok Douyin is actually feeding their population way different stuff, like engineers, scientists. Like these kids over in China, like the number one career they want to be is like an astronaut. In America, it's a YouTuber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the TikTok algorithm is probably fifth generation warfare that China is using
1000%.
to
China
continually
hates
divide America.
America
and push us towards a
China-
collapsed civil war scenario.
If you talk to like
personally.
Main Street, like regular people behind the firewall in China, they don't fucking like America at all, and they're like totally down for Chinese domination.
Wait, do
we're
you
their,
guys
hold
know?
on, we're their biggest trading partner. Where do Chinese
We're
people
kind of
send their?
losing focus though, because this is a dating podcast. So
Well, but
maybe
I
we
think,
should
but I think it's
recalibrate.
important because it's never just a dating podcast. I noticed this with a lot of this kind of like red
Oh.
pill stuff. Is that like everything?
I didn't cut you off for the record. I wanted to hear your perspective.
Yeah.
just- you
Oh no,
just
no,
did
I didn't
that.
see you coming up.
Great.
Did
I
you?
love this.
No.
Continue
Destiny's
with your
taken
job.
Yeah,
over,
there's
bro.
like, it's never just about like dating or just about TikTok. It's always got to be part of this grander plan to like I like how we get into this conversation like, well, what about your relationship? Well, I think this is causing the fall of the West. And it's like, holy shit! Like, gee, I didn't know a guy
Real.
like getting fucked by another dude is like causing like America to lose its position as
I'm
like
so
the head of the
curious how
hegemony.
that works. Can you
It
tell
feels
me?
like
Well, it's-
everything is like tied into like these
I want to
grander
know
global narratives.
why
and-
is gay sex causing damage to society?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
great
that's a great
question.
question. What I would say is the family is at the bedrock of civilization as a whole. If you have a nation full of healthy families, then you're going to have a healthy nation, right? But there's an attack on the nuclear family. Feminism is a prime example, right? Feminism is something that divides.
Hey, the Nazis were fucking families too, dude. There weren't a lot of gay people in fucking Nazi Germany. And look what they did, you fucking idiot. You know, these little fucking minded pricks. I hope Destiny destroys this punk right now. Let's see what Destiny says.
Like marriage is ending in divorce anyway. So
It
has
takes
nothing
me
to do with
1
gay
second.
Sex or anything like
Okay,
that. There's
yeah,
a
so
lot of,
your
like,
question
there's
was
a lot
framed-
of family that's already breaking apart for other reasons.
So-
why are you not focusing on those sort of things?
So I'll answer it in the frame of homosexuality. Have you seen like any of the data on population collapse that's projected in the next like 50 years? There's a lot of countries around the world that are not having children at the replacement rate necessary in order to continue maintaining their society.
Guys, we're not going to be here much longer anyway. What does this motherfucker not know about climate change and about global warming and the rising sea levels and all that shit? And he's talking about, oh, we're not making enough humans. God, you're an idiot. These kids are, my God, man.
Identifying as LGBTQ.
Get me in there so I can fucking bitch slap that motherfucker and get Destiny talking again.
LGBTQ are predominantly bisexual. It's
Okay.
not people that are actually becoming gay. Number one. Number two, population collapse is not happening because of degeneracy or LGBT stuff.
I would say it's a contributing factor.
That's fine, but you'd be wrong. The reason why it's happening is because when countries develop and people are given the opportunity
love
to explore
Destiny
lives,
so
they're not
much.
just saying like, "Oh, I'm 22, I'm gonna have a ton of kids." That's been the big issue. Now, I feel really strongly about this because there arguably is an issue relating to population collapse. Like, we can talk about replacing people or whatever, but like those conversations need to be intelligent, and they have to revolve around what's actually happening, which is women getting access to reproductive control, like birth control, and women entering school and the job market. Those are the two massive driving factors. Because the reality is if you put a bright future in front of somebody and you say, do you want to pursue that, or do you want to have 4 kids by the time you're 24? Most women are reasonably choosing like, oh, I think I'd rather actually like live my life and do this stuff. I'm pretty sure every single woman at this table has probably made the same choices. All the conservative women that talk about it generally make those same choices. Where they'll tell you like, oh, like look at Just Pearly things, right? We'll echo all of the, we need to have kids and blah, 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 and she doesn't either, right? I think that the issue is that we've given women access to all of these things, and they really enjoy it, and now we need to have a conversation. What are we going to do for our future population? Because blaming gay people isn't going to put that back in the box. I think that's the big issue.
Those are some fair points.
Also, you do
hold on,
realize that
no, not
please,
just fair
please, Aaron,
points.
hold on a second.
Shut
Let me
up.
respond to everything that he just said.
Shut up, you idiot.
go.
They weren't just fair points, they were facts, you dumbass, and you don't have a response.
The idea that like the most attractive thing to women is going out there, making their career, like living their life, so on and so forth, and that's what like basically all these women want, conservative women included. I would rebut that by saying I've heard from thousands of women that are in their early 20s, conservative especially, and all they want is to have kids, but they're finding it difficult to find a man who actually wants marriage and who also can provide for them. Like, I hear from girls every single day, they're like, I wish so badly I could find a guy who would want to get married and would want to have kids with me, okay? That, like, the idea that all these women would just want to go out there and, like, live their lives and have their careers and stuff, that's not true.
That's great, but I can't argue against your thousands of women. All I can do is look at stats.
Well, there's
Right,
also
right,
stats
right.
showing that women are increasingly
Unhappy?
less happy.
Yeah, stats on happiness have been notoriously difficult to track. But if we look at actual behaviors, women are like, for instance, what we would have said 40 or 50 years ago is women don't really like school and they're not going to sit in math class because women just don't learn like that. They don't enjoy doing that. And what we've seen is when we open schools to women, not only are they doing really well, they potentially outcompete men in schools. They might even be more geared towards like learning in a classroom environment than men who would rather like go outside and play and like be more physical, right? So I think we have to be careful with this assumption that women are built to want to have children and do that a ton because women are overwhelmingly choosing to go to college and go get jobs and like enter the career field. I think that if we just work on the assumption that, well, they don't really want to do that, we're going to be having the same conversation in 20, 30, 40 years, and people like you're going to be like, well, I don't know what's happening. Is it the woke people pushing women to go to college? Or I don't know, like, well, I've talked to hundreds of women that seem unhappy. Well, if you're really a woman, I mean, this is true. If you're 21, 22, 23, and you're looking to have a family and settle down, you can do it. You're going to find a man that'll want to do it, but you can't live in.
They can't.
You
They
can,
can't.
but
They-
the problem is
they
they want
really
that.
struggle.
But they want that, but then they want to live in LA, Miami, New York, Austin.
A lot of them don't.
No, they
You
don't.
can,
This
I
is
promise you.
part of the
I promise you. Hold on,
problem.
I'll give this. If you're a woman and you want to find a husband that will take care of you, just have kids, go to the fucking Midwest. Go to fucking Montana. Go to fucking. There's tons of places where you can find men that will do this, but you don't want to do that. You want to live in one of the 10 most expensive cities in the United States.
Okay.
You want to have a fun life. You want
That's
to
a
have
fair point.
Yeah, that's the issue. Right?
That's a fair
Yeah.
point. But to go back to the original subject, I would say like hookup culture, our current dating culture that is especially incentivizes like the red pill stuff that especially incentivizes men to like increase their value and go and hook up with as many women as they possibly can. Like that's something that's degenerate, that's decreasing the birth rates. To just pass off the whole like LGBTQ rates increasing as a non-factor when it comes to population replacement, I don't think that's fair. Obviously, if you have a quarter of your population that's not interested in heterosexual monogamous relationships,
Those are not a quarter. Those are mainly bisexual, and a lot
but
of them are women.
even bisexual, like the people the people that are being conditioned by our culture to be interested in that, like that's obviously going to have a
you
negative
wanna-
effect on birth rates. So it does
Yeah.
play into it.
It doesn't. I promise you. If
How
you wanna,
could you say it
because
doesn't,
if you
bro?
Google every
Come
single
on.
industrialized country on Earth, as they become industrialized,
Yeah.
women have less children.
I
It's
think-
true.
D- d-
Every single
okay.
industrialized country.
He's
on the planet.
1,000% right. The more a country trends towards being more industrialized, the birth rate does drop.
Yes, and that data
Like
is
to
clear.
below
But the original
1.8,
the
right?
original
Yes,
question
yes,
was
and that
how does
data is clear.
homosexuality contribute to decreasing
But I don't
birth
think like
rates and
homosexuality is an issue
degeneracy?
in like South Korea or Japan,
has
and they
to
have like
do
some of
with
the
that.
lowest birth
I
rates in the
think
world.
I
Also,
think-
being homosexual doesn't actually preclude you from fathering any children.
Well,
Here,
Yeah,
let's,
but it's not on the
let's-
top of the to-do
well,
list. Let's
okay,
be
I
honest.
still
It's
physiologically
not on the top of the
capable
to-do
of
list for
doing
gay guys.
that.
Gay guys aren't like trying to fucking
I
start a
think
family.
that
Yeah.
women not.
Hold on,
I mean,
hold on. Let's move away from this topic because it's probably a little.
TOS.
It's probably a little fucking TOS.
Wait, is it
Probably. I mean,
population stuff?
talking about.
I doubt it. I
Gay
doubt it.
stuff.
I doubt it's TOS. If you want to
And-
change
terms
the
of
subject,
service.
you
Yeah,
can, but
I do
don't
need
think
to.
it's
I do need
TOS.
to announce a couple things here. So
I feel like you should give her because she wanted to talk for a long time.
When you get close to terms of service, you got to be careful, man. If they're worried about that algorithm, man. They should totally change the topic.
it's because of the very recent embrace of promiscuity, how they're putting themselves out there as like I don't want to say whores because that's a bit draconian, but you know, hookup culture has really destroyed everyone, both sides, men and women.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
I think regardless
So
of
hold
right.
on. Okay, so we
I mean, you feel great because you're married to like a millionaire.
just a heads
That's
up.
why
But
you
I'm
feel
making a
great.
lot of money
So
myself
I
as
feel
well.
a good amount of money.
We're making a lot of money together, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks
The
for asking.
Thanks for
Streamlabs
asking, you
donations.
stupid fucking whore.
Did we get a
She's
cheap
got
test that came
nothing
through?
good to offer. I don't
We
even know
got
why
one,
she's
right?
Yeah,
there.
there was the one. Yeah.
So we're having currently some issues with the donations. Yo, that Zin has gone fucking crazy on your leg, bro.
I'm sorry, bro.
It's all good.
Wow, you didn't airplane mode your phone?
No,
I did. I'm bouncing my
he's
leg.
bouncing the leg.
Oh, okay.
It's more the intensity of the conversation.
Does it
So-
make you uncomfortable, like in a sexual way?
He's getting excited.
I am getting I'm half-mast over here. Okay.
Dude, I have that rainbow shit in Destiny's chat, and I swear to God, when I type things, it seems like it slows the whole chat down. I think people that have rainbow chat slow the chat down a little bit.
Donations. So I just need to read them. We're not going to be seeing it visible, and so I just got to read 3 of these before they fall off the recent events tab. So we have Reverend Ralph 777. Thank you for the donation, man. Question in the statement: did you grow up with your biological father who is married to your biological mother? No such thing in independent females. Either your father, husband, pastor, or the state is in charge. Numbers chapters 30. L feminism.
Okay.
I guess show of hands who here grew up with their mother and father intact.
Why is that
biological
girl so
mother and father.
mad?
biological mother and father.
Not
Okay.
me.
All right. We have a non. Would be interesting to hear Virgin Mary debate. Farha, that's your friend.
Yeah.
Farha. Mia Khalifa from a couple shows ago. Both very smart and logical, but completely opposite perspectives. It seems I think we're gonna have her back, so that could be cool to get arranged. Quick question on Farah. I asked her if she was interested in you.
That's so creepy. Why?
What,
You...
what the fuck? Why is that creepy? I'm just saying. I'm trying to be your wingman, Destiny.
I'll answer that question if you tell me of you two who would be the top or bottom.
Yo, what the fuck? Bruh.
I'm actually gonna imagine it, or if I'm okay with doing that.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I don't
'cause,
consent. I
Yeah,
don't
but you've been
consent.
imagining a lot of it, some of you.
How is him asking that creepy when you've literally been graphically explaining like gay sex, like oh come this that.
Because
Right.
you guys
I
are the
don't-
ones
you guys
asking the
have asked it.
questions.
You
I,
guys are
I know,
asking
but like
Okay.
how is that?
I don't think
You
it's
did
creepy. I
ask.
just think it's like juvenile and childish to be like, oh, it's you and Farah, like.
You know what's
should
juvenile
be
and-
Like
together
we're in
and
the
love
third
each
grade
other?
here, yeah.
You know what's
It's like,
juvenile,
okay.
juvenile and childish? Your refusal to just answer a basic question and continually try to
Is it my
redirect
refusal
the
to answer that question, or is like asking the question in the first
Why
place?
is it? Why is
Yeah.
it every time you get asked a question, you respond with another question? And you're probably going to do it right now, but I'd like just a straight response.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why can't you just give a straight response?
you do really like straight things, right? Like straight people, heterosexuality.
Yeah,
that
I
really
do.
is your jam.
Another
right?
question.
This is like such a
Wow.
bad
It's your,
day. Fucking.
it's your
Yeah.
jam.
Why are you being bad faith? Why? I mean, you came to a dating podcast. Why wouldn't you answer
Do we have a
questions?
womp womp womp
I
sound
think
for her?
bad faith would
I'm
be
gonna
you
say-
guys saying that you just had a curiosity in their open relationship and then
Well, now-
asking.
now you're
extreme-
projecting
Okay, and then you're saying to me,
Am I
wait,
projecting
if you
or am
want
I
the real answer,
evaluating?
if you want the
You're
real answer,
incorrectly
no
evaluating.
wonder
No one is asking.
And you wonder, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. No wonder why you haven't had a boyfriend. Shit, I don't even think I'm gonna take on a date now. No.
You're breaking my heart.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Someone.
Are you going to keep this up for the rest of the podcast? Like, will you answer
You know
any
the answer.
questions?
You
Maybe
know
I
the
can go for a
answer.
long time. I have pretty good stamina.
Like you make me want to
But
blow
it's
my
like,
brains
what-
So
out
did
at
you did you
44.
just come to troll?
Of course not. It's a very serious dating topic.
Fresh, get your
Okay,
girl,
I
bro.
like
Fresh,
you.
get your girl. DM her.
It's a waste of time engaging with her.
All right.
Yeah, we have to get back to the serious questions, like Destiny, top or bottom.
Why are you so curious? It's kind of a bad faith question towards Destiny. He already said he doesn't want to answer it.
True. What are we gonna talk about next, you guys?
Where were we?
We're rating super chats. What's the next one?
Yeah, just go through the series.
And I'm still waiting on the video of him of them
We're
of
gonna.
you dancing with
Eric,
ABBA.
have you found it?
Can we talk about One Piece?
Don't pull it up yet. Let me do the super chats or these little donations here. Lynn's B, thank you for the donation for the Bonnells. Why isn't your spouse enough for you, and why did you marry if you found them lacking? Why not keep it a situationship? Quick answer.
It's just fun to fuck around with other people.
Word. Okay. Do you have
I guess it's the same thing.
same answer?
Yeah.
Okay. And nobody, thank you for the donation. Destiny, are you on your normal amount of cocaine tonight? or is it a larger dose? Doesn't seem like it's correcting the extra. Bro, that's kind of mean. I don't know.
Read it. Yeah.
You sure? Do I have your? Okay.
Absolutely.
It's like it's correcting the extra body fat, though.
Nice.
Maybe do more push-ups and less push-downs from the boys. Cheers.
Way to go. That was good. I love Destiny,
That guy
man.
sent a video of him doing push-ups.
Not my
honestly.
words. Not my words.
Destiny showing some definition.
Don't shoot the
That's
messenger.
good.
Don't shoot the
He's,
messenger.
you can see he's working.
Reading that as
Yeah,
well.
he
He
did.
probably was squeezing his,
Look at Destiny's
while he-
arms, man. You can see he's
you were saying
working.
all that.
That's lovely. Okay.
Oh man,
It's
what's
good.
next?
We have so many super chats.
Yeah, we'll do
People
the
love to
YouTube
donate money
yeah,
about
we'll
me,
do-
so you're
I
welcome.
like how serious
Which
all
one?
this is.
People love to donate money to shit on me on these shows, so you're welcome. Okay, read them all. Okay.
Can you actually like pull out your phone and like send one right now?
Yeah, do you want me to just fuck up and send 2 again because I'm too retarded or too stupid to figure it out?
Is there like a PayPig component at all? Like, can we? You know what, Destiny? Every single stream I have,
Yeah,
you need to send one fuck up,
and one normal one.
and one normal one. Deal? Is that fair?
I'll think about it.
All right,
Okay.
think about it, and we'll shout you out. So it's like some ROI.
Oh,
you know?
thanks.
Okay.
Plug my stream and stuff.
Yeah, plug your stream.
What's next? What do we got?
The
That,
90s
we'll
drink
do
cup.
some more later. Let's pull up that video. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay.
You sure you want this? I mean,
Well, do you have like a box of tissues in case I want to like cry a little bit, or?
I have.
Use your wife's hair. Crying.
Oh, this is long.
It's for 4 minutes.
Is it the beginning? Just go to the beginning, I reckon. Put in the
Go to the part before he's
video
like
tab.
wrapping
Video
his
tab.
big hands around her shoulders and like
Did that
hey, really
No,
like
that's-
taking her
did
away
that
from me.
turn you on?
It would have been more if I was turning around watching. You know.
Yeah.
The reason why my face is like so weird is I'm just staring into the camera, like imagining the whole time. Like I wish they would.
It's melt
It's
time.
melt
Dude, she is
I
fucking
think that was the worst one.
crazy
Can you
hot.
boost the audio?
Oh my god.
No, not in the YouTube player. In the YouTube.
Look, I
player.
haven't danced for years and I'm doing so well.
That's sad,
Are you not
man.
focusing on how great I'm dancing?
No.
No? Really?
You're looking at the downfall of the West, you
Yeah,
guys.
right here. This is why Russia's
Like you
gonna beat
do
Ukraine.
look like
right?
you want to die here. You can't deny that.
It's always how I stare at my street. What am I supposed to look like?
I don't know. Maybe that's just what you look like.
I'm
I
just
think that
watching
is
my
just
chat.
his
I don't think you've ever seen me dance either.
What?
You never seen me dance either.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You've been married for 4 years and he hasn't seen you dance.
That was fucking cute. Oh.
You need a dance partner in that
What
case.
she's doing? She did this one. That's how I knew, man. She started flexing the shoulders and the traps. I was like, oh,
Keep it going for a little bit.
You almost done?
Um,
I was getting footage for his next cuck video on me.
Wait, what did you say? What did you say?
I said he's collecting footage for the next cuck video because I know these clips are going to show up. Like
I
a million
love
times.
Destiny, man. He's so fucking cool. Oh my god.
I think that's pretty much all of it.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god. Having to relive that
Destiny,
moment every day. is
your
just- it's brutal,
reaction, your reaction to
Did
the
you
video.
feel a little something there? Watching
Feel
that?
what?
Feel a little something.
What are you talking?
Say
I
something.
think,
Did-
I think they're like
did
trying
you-
to gaslight
did-
me into being like.
Melina, did you feel a little something during that?
No.
No, you didn't.
No, I'm like traumatized from my dancing because my teachers were really insane.
Gotcha.
So you
That
guys
way.
obviously
Not the
think the
trauma
internet overreacted to this video and twisted it into something that it's not. But my question is like, why did you make your open relationship, polyamory, whatever, available public information? Why did you start talking about it? Why did you make it something
so,
that you
yeah.
can be mocked about on
So
the internet?
I'm super open about almost all aspects of my life for a variety of reasons. One is because I don't like it when people present like a false front. There's online, I think, for social media, we can talk about appearances. You've got filters, makeup, plastic surgery, like everything online is fake. You've got people that present their lives as being way better than they actually are. You've got people that lie about like the problems they have. I like that I'm online. You can see there's a lot of really good things I do. I'm obviously well accomplished. I'm pretty popular. I've been doing this for 12 or 13 years. There's a lot of mistakes that I've made, whether it's words I've said, actions I've been involved in, ways that I live my life. And I'm really open about all of that because I think that right now in my life, I'm very happy. I've been very happy for most of my life, but I didn't get there by being a perfect person or pretending to be a perfect person the entire time.
There's probably
and
a
I
lot
also
of
like,
people-
I like that I can represent like different things. So like, for instance, like I know that like being bi and coming on shows like this, obviously everybody roasts me for it and says that my opinions on relationships don't matter, et cetera, et cetera. But there's also a lot of people that are like wrestling with feelings like that and they shoot me an email like, oh, I think it's cool that like you talk about this, but it's not like your entire personality or you don't feel bad about it or you don't let other people tear you down about it. So yeah, I like to be open about like all of the aspects of my life because I think it's good to show that there are a variety of lifestyles you can live and I'm not going to let the crazy LGBT people monopolize those lifestyles, right? So if you think about somebody who might be polyamorous or bisexual, you're not exclusively thinking of the guy that's doing like the kink at Pride Parade where they've got like the doggy costume on and they're running around talking to people.
I think of ugly, morbidly obese people
Sure.
on TikTok who are in polycules. That's who I think of.
Yeah, that's
Find
fine.
that
So I like to
polyamory
do.
comes
So I like
up.
to. Hopefully, my
Very
representation
bad
is a little bit better.
physiognomy associated with
It's
this
the
lifestyle.
worst.
So you're happy that we're being open
I think
then?
you're very attractive, obviously.
Oh, so wait,
Which
hold on,
one?
1 second. What the fuck is polycule?
It's a group of people who are polyamorous with each other or whatever. I don't
Is
know.
that like a
Oh,
Pokemon?
like
or
Sam
some
Bankman
shit, or-
Fried.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Okay, question for you, Destiny. Have you, or both of you, have you guys always been poly, or any periods of monogamy, or just always?
Were
If
you
we're
born
having
like
like
this?
what?
Were you born like this? Is there a gene?
Well, in our relationship, if there's like a lot of fighting going on, we try to like kind of tighten up for a little bit, so that there's not, because obviously we're like fighting and then people are like banging other people. It's probably going to compound into a lot of other
Fuel on
problems.
fire.
Some more questions for you, Destiny.
Yeah, go for it.
The
dude.
Inquisitor. Not these are
That's
pretty.
good. I
These are
love
pretty
it.
tame. These are
I like
pretty
all
tame.
of it. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you running through chicks in Miami? Just
No,
like
I don't. Sexual. Okay, for me, sexual relationships are fun because one, I like women.
Yeah.
Two, I like the friendships that I have with women, and then three, it's fun to be sexual with people that you have friendships with that are women. Those are like fun things for me to explore. But it's not about like running up a body count. It's not the like, oh my god, I fucked somebody. It's just like a fun activity that I like to engage
Just
in.
like
I've
the
always
connection
been,
you
Can
can
you
have with
crawl
someone
under
when
the
you get
table,
closer with
please?
them.
Yeah,
Say that again,
that'd be good for the
Lena.
memes.
It's just more fun when you can like connect and like be closer with someone.
It's probably easier
like
go
physical
that
way as well
way.
because you get
Go
to know
that way.
someone a lot deeper than just like going out to eat or whatever. Like hanging out for a long time or like closer is a lot more fun.
But because like I get the impression like I think you probably have fucking killer game, dude. So and you're in Miami, like
yeah,
you gotta
but I
be
don't-
running through
okay,
the
first of all,
chicks,
wait,
dude.
hold on, wait. Number one, game is very relative to the crowd that you're in, right? I think I do have really good game, but only with like a certain style of girl. If you would have put me into a fucking nightclub in Miami for like a year, I might fuck one chick if I'm lucky. Because that is like totally not my thing. But if you went on like
Don't
a college
undersell yourself.
No, but if you
Don't
went on like a college
undersell.
campus with like nerdier chicks or like chicks that are more into like you know, whatever shit you'd be studying,
Sucking
school,
Speaking
I'd probably do
words.
exactly, yeah. Or like gamer girls or
Having
people that are into, like, music or whatever. I
conversations.
do a lot better. So it depends on like the scene. So like in Miami, like I'm not like out there like banging chicks with like BBLs and shit. I don't even know if I could ever score
Hey.
something like that ever. I would never be able to do it.
I'm with you about. Okay, he's gonna
That-
leave me hanging.
No, that's good. I saw the German suit you wore earlier, and I don't know if there's like.
Oh
a good,
no,
like,
that was
Question
Hold
to
on,
add
hold on,
on
let
to
me-
Brian's. Are you running through dudes in Miami?
Jesus Christ.
No, not typically. No.
You really
Well,
wants to know still.
What'd you
still,
say?
still asking
I mean,
about the dudes.
curious.
Maybe,
okay,
yeah, I'm
I got-
curious. I have some
He's-
thoughts
he's
underneath
curious,
all of this,
man.
and I'm not
He's
going to
bi-
tell
that
what
guy's
it is, where it comes from.
bi-curious.
I'm curious.
Don't
He
worry
asked
about
if he's
it.
running through
Don't worry
chicks.
about
Maybe
it.
he's running through dudes.
Yeah, are you looking for tips or what?
young
Not
fucking.
exactly.
My shit.
Um,
No, I'm just fucking-
Okay.
Looks just like goddamn Robin
answer
Williams.
tonight.
Feel
Young
sexually
Robin
harassed
Williams
right
is
now.
looking to
That's been talked to.
You're the one
experiment.
that's rubbing your leg against this guy like a horny dog.
How can I not? Look at him, man.
Okay,
And that's with the wig off.
but I agree with you there as far as you know the BBLs and the fake tits and the.
Well, and to be
lip
clear,
fillers.
hold on. I'm not saying that like if you want to do the BBL stuff and all that, that's totally fine. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying that that's not my scene. Like girls.
That's
in that
not your
scene
type
would-
of girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would hate me, and I probably wouldn't get along with them. Right? Yeah.
Question for you, very serious question. Have you hooked up with any of the girls who have been on Fresh and Fit?
I'm not gonna talk about like.
Huh?
Okay, here's like a broad rule that I have. Okay.
That's bad game.
No, here's a broad rule that I have too, okay? One is a lot of women that do hook up with streamers or whatever don't like to ever be public about it for a variety of reasons. Because you look bad, there's associations, it's just too dramatic. And then two, I will never, on shows, I will never confirm or deny certain types of girls I hook up with. Because what happens is if I deny some and I say no comment for others, people will start to like piece together. So I usually just as a rule of thumb, I don't ever like out people. If somebody else wants to talk about it, then I'm like, oh yeah, we hooked up, whatever. But I'll never be like the first one to out and stuff like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
A gentleman.
Thanks.
True gentleman. Okay. So you two requested initially to come on, and then you also wanted Destiny to join us. You two describe yourselves as feminists. Is that?
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you to be a feminist?
I believe in equal rights between women and men.
Okay.
I believe that a woman should have the right to choose whether she wants to stay at home and be traditional. I think that's cool.
Sure.
If she wants to go to the workforce, I think that's cool as well. I just think that they should have those opportunities available to them.
To me, it just means gender equity, liberation, and the promotion of women's success financially, socially, economically.
You said equity there. What do you mean by equity? Because equality I have a fairly good understanding of, but equity is a bit more.
I think modern iterations of feminism have kind of moved away from trying to find equality and complete and total parity between the sexes and the genders in like a one-to-one way. I think it's less about trying to find this golden mean that's probably never going to exist, and more about like where do we see deficiencies for the genders and on the basis of sex or gender, and how can we accommodate everybody and make sure everybody's needs are being met, and that nobody's being discriminated against on that basis alone.
On the subject of gender, if I may ask, what is a woman?
This is $1 million question.
Don't even bother asking Aaron that question. You're just gonna get another question.
Maybe she wants to answer it.
I mean, okay. So I feel like every single time I try to come up an answer with this and I try to think it logically through, I run into some problems. So usually what I try to do is I do ask other people to define it first, because I'd rather work on their definition and see if everything tracks. Because so far, every definition that's been presented to me, like, there's some logical inconsistency.
Okay, but what is a woman?
To me, a woman seems to be somebody who presents as a woman, who acts as a woman societally.
You can't use the same term in the definition of the term.
That's not 100% true. If you know about functional definitions, that's like, I don't want to get into behavioral psych, that's going to be a whole other thing. But basically, we have these conceptions of what a woman is, how they present, certain feminine features, certain ways that they dress. And we tend to say, okay, if you wear skirts, dresses, have long hair, that's a woman.
So,
whether it should be considered that or not is a completely different story that then starts running into logical inconsistencies.
Would you consider Gorlock a woman?
I don't know who Gorlock is.
The fat fuck.
I don't know who that is.
Whoa.
Rise.
But I would
Is
love...
that you?
Pixie, if
probably
I
not.
look at somebody and they identify as a woman, but I don't know that, and I just totally register that person as a man in my mind, and that's how I interact with them, then is that person a woman?
Well, that's where we start running into logical inconsistencies, right? I would say basically the main thing is identifier, right? So
Why is that the main thing, though?
Because when we say chromosomes, when we say biology, and try to use that definition, the reality here is that I did not check anybody's chromosomes in here before calling them a man or a woman.
Or genitals.
You-
But there are a lot of
You
other
can
micro
just tell.
calculations that I
I-
think your brain is making about someone's appearance, which makes you register them as either one or the other.
Exactly.
Male or female.
We're making assumptions based on appearances, not genitalia or chromosomes. So there seems to be some sort of inconsistency if we try to define it biologically, because we don't actually act that way in reality. I didn't check your genitalia, I didn't check your chromosomes, I just assumed because of how you presented yourself that you were a woman. So I agree, like it's a complicated subject. It feels like there's inconsistencies whenever we try to define it, like, hey, but wait a second, just because I wear short hair, does that make me not a woman anymore? Of course not. So it is a complicated subject. I'm not here to pretend I have all the answers.
Actually, I don't think we find it
John, what
complicated.
do you think about that?
I think that you're intellectualizing it too much. I think if we took 100 people and just had them identify every person at this panel, are you a man or are you a woman, they would, with 100% accuracy, be able to discern the biological sex. Even without seeing the chromosomes or the genitalia, they would know.
That's definitely not true.
That's
And
absolutely
not
true.
true.
It's
No,
totally
I-
true.
I-
you,
I-
you,
so
you
true.
could, you could find like femboys and stuff on Twitter that are more feminine than the most feminine women.
You're right, and so here's sort of the problem. I don't like the way that the conservatives, and in particular some of the Daily Wire crowd, handle this. I understand why they do it. They're trying to attack the problem head on. But you're right when you say it's not sufficient to define a woman by her biology. You know, if you say like this sort of crude, people make a lot of money now selling T-shirts like real women don't have dicks, and it's like, okay, yeah, well, real women also shouldn't speak that way, frankly. It's sort of like your definition earlier, for example. Like, I couldn't ask you what an ant is, and you couldn't reply, like, an ant is a creature that acts like an ant. Like, there has to be some way that that creature is behaving naturally, and I think that women in their natural state tend to, not always, but tend to behave a certain way and tend to look a certain way. And conservatives, I think, are afraid to acknowledge that because we have so much internalized feminism and liberalism in the sense that we don't want to pretend that that exists, like that women act a certain way and men act a certain way. And so we do want to keep it in a comfortable area, of like, oh, well, my biology textbook says this, and, you look like this. But in the next 10, 15 years, Chase and I were talking about this earlier, as the surgeries continue, as the hormones continue, the makeup, you won't be able to tell. And it won't be sufficient to just look at somebody and be able to say, oh, you're a man or you're a woman. And so it can't purely be cosmetic. It can't purely be biological. It's almost this like metaphysical discussion that I don't think anyone's ready to have. So in a way, the woke people are actually more correct because they're trying to have a conversation about the essence of gender. And the right is just like, oh, well, men and women, there's only two of them. And that's just a losing point of view. So I actually agree in a way with what you're saying. I just don't agree with the conclusion.
Part of the reason why I asked the question, you mentioned that you're a feminist and you believe in fighting for women's rights, so on and so forth. And there's this interesting thing that started to happen in our society where I've seen a number of articles about this in recent years. It came up on a couple podcasts ago. There are biological males that are being convicted of crimes, and before they go to their sentencing, they all of a sudden start identifying as women, and they get sent to female prisons, where they will then go to the female prisons and they will rape the female inmates and impregnate them.
Chase, bro.
Sorry, I forgot, dude. They will grape them. A little too late.
Scuffed, dude.
Yeah, sorry. Anyways, like, as somebody who believes in fighting for women's rights, like, don't you feel like that kind of jeopardizes women's rights?
I think that when it comes to like the whole idea of like a sudden makeshift gender, saying, oh no, like suddenly I identify as a woman, so I can get into women's prison and rape women. That is something. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep saying no. I'm sorry. like,
Keep going.
But yeah, that is something that would be worrisome. Absolutely. And that kind of goes back to this whole idea of like, okay, how long should a person be able to present, or are there other markers that we can actually, like, the psychologist can talk to you, have a real conversation, and be able to determine, like, what are your true, like, incentives or motives? I don't know how common these cases are. I do feel, and I just bring this up, not to try to derail.
Let me just say that the day we had that conversation, it happened again later that day. Like, it's probably pretty common.
I mean, the reason why I kind of want to push back on that is because 1% of the population in the United States is trans, right? So that means like the percentage of people who are trans and also going to jail are probably like less than, if I had to guess, like less than 0.2 or 0.3%, right? So it just doesn't seem like it would have to be, unless if you have stats saying the majority of trans people are going to jail.
Well,
then
you
that
might
would
actually have an overrepresentation.
Hold on 1 second. It could be happening in jail. It could be happening in women's restrooms. Like, these kind of assaults happen all over the place. And it's like, for me, it's like, okay, I hear you say that you're a feminist, but it's like, I feel like a true feminist would really work to protect actual biological women from this whole situation being taken advantage of.
Assault is already illegal, though.
I'd like to add on.
Yeah, it's already illegal, but it's being made. It's being made. It's being made easier. It's being made easier as a result of the direction that our society is going.
He's just talking over the top of that little
rose
cross-eyed girl.
Women who stand against this stuff, they call them TERFs, right? Trans exclusionary radical feminists. But it's like, I feel like there's nothing radical about it. I feel like a true feminist would actually work to protect her sisters when stuff like this is coming up.
Mr. Chase, may I add on to that? I just wanted to ask, how masculine in the face does someone have to be before you're uncomfortable in a bathroom with them?
What do you mean? That's a.
What was your question?
How masculine in the face does someone have to be before you yourself? I'm asking you.
Have you ever been in the bathroom with like a butch lesbian?
I have. I'm asking you.
Okay, but butch lesbian, like by definition, present pretty masculinely, and yet
they're clearly still women.
I'd like for you to let me finish. I'm asking you personally, how masculine in the face does someone have to be before you yourself feel uncomfortable and unsafe in the bathroom with them?
I honestly wouldn't feel uncomfortable or unsafe in the bathroom unless if that person, and also this applies to cis women as well, unless if that person started trying to like interact with me some way in the bathroom, right?
If you saw Chase in the women's restroom, how would you react?
How would you react if you saw Buck Angel in the women's restroom? I think this is the issue, right?
Who's
is
Buck
it like
Angel?
Is a trans man who's very masculine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they have a vagina. I'm assuming.
I got to catch up on all this
Hulk
American
Hogan with a
insanity.
vagina in the bathroom. Would that not make you feel
Andrew Tate did a very interesting video on this where he asked.
He did.
But it's like, if I saw Buck Angel in the men's bathroom, like, I'd be like, okay, like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, but
no,
I
but
can
if Buck
defend
Angel
myself.
was in the women's
You're saying
bathroom,
if you went into the
than
women's
men.
restroom?
Yeah, well,
Women are
it's
more
surprisingly-
vulnerable than men, so it
Yes.
matters less who is going into the men's bathroom.
No. We're saying if you take Hulk Hogan and you give him a vagina, and then he enters a woman's restroom,
This is
when
the
you see
funniest
them,
conversation
you're gonna say,
of
like, oh my
all
God,
time.
like, you know, that's a male or whatever, but you don't know they have a vagina. So the question becomes like a lot more like murky, or the answer to the question becomes a lot more murky, because you're saying like, oh, how masculine do they have to look before you're uncomfortable? But at the end of the day, they have a vagina, aren't they?
Because
Women,
if you gave
according
Hulk
to most
Hogan
of you
a
guys.
neo
Well, you
vagina,
said-
he'd still be a man.
But I feel like
You
you
said
said
if
I'm
you
saying
gave him
if
a
you-
vagina,
no,
but
okay,
giving him a
let's-
vagina via a sex operation, it's
if
not
you
an
have a
actual
woman,
vagina.
Refer to
if
her
you
as
have a
she, her,
woman who
please.
decide, if you have a woman or somebody who's biologically born female, whatever, and they start injecting
I
like,
think that's the definition that we're looking for.
okay. If you have a woman or like biologically born female, that's the definition you're working with, and they start injecting themselves with like steroids, start grinding, start working out, get
Testosterone.
surgery to get their boobs replaced, whatever. Now they're this like super muscular person that looks like a guy, and they go into the women's restroom. Would that be okay with you guys?
No, probably not actually. I
So-
don't think the female body is like ready to process those kinds of hormones. One of you also mentioned the butch lesbian. Have you seen the rates of domestic violence among those types of couples? I wouldn't frankly want them. Maybe they should have like their own bathrooms
Okay,
or something.
I
Maybe it
also-
should be like an
I think-
LGBT bathroom.
Yes.
for all
I
of
feel
them.
like the
Third,
issue.
third restroom.
Someone in the chat actually
Would you
claimed
say
that women
separate
are
but
not
equal?
vulnerable, which is absolutely insane.
Well, no. I think the argument is women are not necessarily vulnerable in bathrooms. There's not like this
They
epidemic.
are more vulnerable
Hold on.
than men.
Wait,
in
hold
general.
on.
So at what-
Hold on. Number one, there's
Okay.
not this epidemic of bathroom rapes. Okay, this is like a really fantastic scenario. Number one.
Grapes.
Number two.
Grapes.
Grapes.
Sexual
Number two. Okay.
That's it.
And I don't know if this is like an SNL skit or something, but like if a rapist is chasing you and you're a woman, it's not like running into the bathroom is going to protect you, right? So the idea that
Nobody
like,
was proposing that it would.
but if there is somebody
But
that wants
should
to,
this be considered socially acceptable?
it's just
It already
Wait,
is.
Hold on, wait.
No,
I'm
it's
just,
not.
Wait, hold on.
It's
No,
not.
no, wait. In some
It's- yeah.
countries, okay, so like in Sweden, for instance, there's just bathrooms where everybody goes in and there's
There's
like
no,
an
like,
individual stuff.
gender
Like, yeah,
anything.
there's plenty of these places that exist. Nobody's out there graping everybody all over their bathrooms. It's not. This is like such a niche.
Sweden like
Unisex bathrooms.
Yeah,
in
It
Sweden.
is, it
Sweden
is,
and Germany
it
have
is, it is.
extremely
It's like in your house.
Girl
They
with
have
the dragon
extremely high
tattoo.
rates.
That's because they have a more
That's
general
because they
definition.
hold on. That's because in like
I
2030.
mean, you've got a unisex bathroom in your house. Everyone does. They forget
Number
that.
one, but I'm just saying that like I think that there's a valid reason to talk about protecting women's spaces. I think there's a really good conversation to be had about like women's sports, but the bathroom example is one of the silliest, weirdest things that gets brought up constantly. There is not an epidemic of people getting raped in the bathroom, and if there was, a female sign with a dress is not going to stop a rape.
Why do women need to come up with a reason that they don't want men in the
Yeah,
bathroom with them, though?
It's
Why
also-
do they need a
it's-
specific reason like
I-
that?
no,
Why
no.
can't it just be
Okay, yeah.
If you
that they're
wanna-
uncomfortable?
You
what
don't,
point-
wait, you don't. You're the one that's
Sorry.
pretending they need the reason. Because if you say,
No, I'm not.
You are, because if you say I'm uncomfortable with somebody being in the bathroom just because like I feel like the women's bathroom should be just for people with vaginas or whatever, that's a fine argument. You can start there. But when it's like I'm worried they're gonna assault me, motherfucker, someone's gonna
That's
assault
part
you.
of it, but it's certainly not
It's
all
not
of
part
it.
of it.
You,
It's
you
not
are
part of it. I don't
correct
believe
with
that.
the assault aspect.
Well, wait, hold on, real quick, because I cut her off. What were you
Okay,
gonna say?
at what
Sorry.
point does someone else's comfort, at what point should that be prioritized over someone else's safety?
The problem is whose comfort, because we always
Whose
talk about
safety?
this on the
Biological
woman's
Just
side.
said.
You say that, but so for instance, let's say that
He's just said there's no rash of bathroom rapes. This is a non-starter.
Blair White comes walking into the bathroom. You would defend that because you said, well, she's a biological male. But I might feel really uncomfortable
No
if I'm a
longer
traditional male. I'm a
cheers.
Christian
But
man.
as a man, you're far more able to protect yourself and your
No,
child
no, no, no,
than
hold
a
on, hold
woman
on,
is.
hold on. We're not talking about who's getting assaulted. I'm just saying in terms of comfort, because earlier you said it's just about comfort in the bathroom. So if I'm a traditional male, I'm a Christian man, and all of a sudden somebody like Blair White walks up to the stall and starts peeing in, and my 6-year-old son is there, and he's like, Dad, I didn't know women could do that. Well, what am I supposed to say? Now my comfort is being violated, right? So I feel like there has to be like a better middle ground here, other than like all trans people. Have
No,
these
that's the point. You don't say my comfort is being violated, son. You say, son, that's a biological male, but he's pretending to be a woman.
Yeah, but that conversation is going to be really complicated.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, but isn't
We
it
live in a
worth-
crazy world, son. There's a lot of
We've
crazy
always
people.
lived in a crazy world, okay?
It's
Where-
getting crazier.
No,
There's
America's
no
at, I think
denying.
America's at all-time high craziness.
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
at like peak
If you think that
crazy.
we're at an all-time high, it just goes to show how good the country is. That the biggest problem you have are who's going into whose bathroom. Okay, like there are countries that
Well
are at
said,
war right now.
Destiny.
There are multiple countries committing genocides right now, and there are tons of horrible problems around the world. If your biggest issue is who's
It's
going
not-
into the
it's-
bathroom that has a dick
that's-
or not,
it's not
I think
the-
you're doing
okay,
okay.
but
That's not the
taking-
biggest
that's
issue.
taking
The biggest
an
issue
extreme-
we
What's the
came
biggest issue?
No, let's take an
What's the
extreme
biggest issue in
example.
America? That's totally beyond the scope
I think
of this
homelessness
podcast.
on the
I'm
West
curious.
Coast is an extreme issue. That would be something that I would consider to be an extreme
It's-
issue.
it's a
Okay, but
big
this
issue.
is an
It's
issue
a big issue.
regardless. This
It's
is
a
an issue
problem.
regardless, and you're out here saying, "Oh, there's wars being fought." Well, that's not what's going on here.
Sure. Well, there are kind of.
Well,
wars
yeah,
going on.
there
Not
are
yet.
wars
When
being
I'm-
fought here,
Sure,
but in
I'm
this,
just saying that if you want to have a conversation about the bathroom, okay, I think it's valid to say I feel a little bit uncomfortable if there are people that clearly look like a man entering the bathroom, and there's a lot of trans people that agree with that too. I think that's a fine conversation, but when it goes into this very weird world of like, I think they're going to do these essays and these like all this stuff on like, I don't think sexual assaults. I
Sure.
don't think that like that's a legitimate concern.
sure,
I think
but
that's
I
something
think
people do.
Yet.
bathroom aside, I think it's
Yet.
a principle of it. I think the discussion is safety and whatnot. I think the bathroom has little to do
She
with
keeps
it.
going
I
to
think it's
safety.
just a
Sure,
broad
and
statement.
again, you're like
It's a
saying
principle of
you're
it.
using but then you're agreeing with me.
It's a
I don't
principle.
disagree. Yeah, if you
Well,
want to
I
argue
never
the
said-
There's no safety issue. He already explained that. Say it again, Destiny.
essays in the bathroom for trans
Well,
people.
no, you were the one who was
I think we
fixating
should-
on
I think we
essays
should-
in
yeah,
the
we're
bathroom.
We're getting lost in the weeds.
I want
We're
to
getting
come
lost in
back.
the
I want
weeds.
to come back to. By the way, can I have everyone just scoot their cups into the table a little bit?
You were
OCD over here.
fixating on essays in the bathroom for the
I
past
think
5
we should
we're-
redirect.
that's-
We're gonna
let's-
let's
let's-
let's
move on
let's
from
redirect the
that.
conversation.
So initially, what I was asking you two is when you contacted me, you said you both were feminists, and you kind of described a little bit about what that means. I suppose my question is, what do you believe in as a feminist, and chiefly, do you believe in the patriarchy theory?
Yes, I believe in the patriarchy. I believe that there is like historical examples of the United States being a patriarchy, and I still think that there are certain ways where it currently exists. I think, interestingly enough, I think in some ways you guys are actually pushing against that when you guys are talking against promiscuity in men, because I think historically it's been accepted, this idea that like, oh, you know, if a man sleeps around, he's just a player, he's just being the alpha. And that's a patriarchal notion. So I actually agree with you guys in the sense that like, hey, you know what, like sleeping around men or women, like that's not necessarily a good idea. But yes, I do believe that like in the general patriarchy, and that there are still like examples of it currently going on.
Okay. Do you think we live in a patriarchy?
Yes, I do. And
That's
I think
why
like
it's
building
awesome.
off of like I think the question that you asked me was like
don't think we
more
have enough
related to what my
patriarchy.
definition of feminism is. I gave it to you a bit earlier, but I also like to explain it to people as feminism really is just like a neutral tool and way of analyzing and understanding the world around us and looking at it through gender relations or sex relations. You can arrive at conservative conclusions or like liberal left-leaning conclusions through it. There's many examples of conservative feminists, rad femmes, TERFs, you know, third wave feminists, like all of these groups are kind of at odds with each other. Yeah, they broadly fall under like we advocate for women's rights, but the way that they decide to go about it is completely different. So there's not one coherent definition of like this feminist ideology guides this group of women or people, because really anybody can claim to be a feminist or employ feminism.
Sure.
And I just feel like it is a useful tool for anybody to use, because wouldn't you agree that the lives of men and women are so different that to analyze them through that structure is often interesting and insightful?
So you think feminism is a useful tool?
Yes.
Okay, and just really quick, just to bring you two into it, I don't know if you guys identify as feminist, Destiny.
Probably, I imagine.
Consider yourself
Yeah.
feminist. Okay. So
I think it's, to be clear, that term has become so broad that it's kind of like meaningless, right?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
like one way equity as a feminist could just be that like
Yeah.
most
We
of
have
them
a
at this
better
point,
chance of getting accepted usually when you're a woman.
Sure, most of the ones that exist now are probably like cultural in nature, and a lot of those I think have been largely eroded, probably especially over the past like 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
But then there are other feminists that will push for way more radical stuff, depending on where you want to go on the political spectrum. So I just